Hi, welcome back to the Jack and Glenn channel. I'm Jackie.
And I'm her husband, Glenn.
He's my husband, Glenn.
Hey, before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you don't miss any of our reviews. Tonight we're reviewing Married at First Sight, Season 17, Episode number 3. And we get the final wedding. The final wedding we get tonight, Cameron and Claire. So sit back, relax, enjoy the review. If it's your first time to this channel, hit the subscribe button. All right, and that bell notification so you don't miss anything else that we have come out. Let's get started.
Yes, we get the last wedding, Claire and Cameron. And I'm going to say this off the top. Well, I didn't know that man was that tall. When she walked in with her parents from out the cold, mind you.
Yeah, it was cold. It was brick.
Yeah.
The hawk was out.
When I tell you camera tricks are magic. She went from outside in the cold with a coat on to boom in there with no coat. But anyway,
she warmed up.
Yeah. But it was the fact that she took it off. I was like, dang, it was like but anyway, so he looked like he was excited when he saw her, and I was surprised. She was like excited to see him.
Looking up.
Well, yeah, when she got to him, I was like, gosh, he's really tall. I guess I didn't realize that she was short because later she said, I guess he didn't know he was getting a shorty. I didn't know that.
Fun size.
I don't know if she that little.
I don't know. That's one of my coworkers used to say that. Anyway.
Yeah, I think I don't. That's not a good thing to say.
I'm just telling you what she said.
But anyway, let me say this. Let me go back. So Claire's sister comes in first, and she was like, "Oh, you the groom? Oh my gosh, look at you! What's your name?" And it's like his name is Cameron, and she's like, "Okay, look at you." She trying to feel him out in that moment. I said, "Okay," but they wave at each other, Claire and Cameron, when they come in, and then she notices his accent. She's like, "Oh.
That's the key.
Now the gift makes sense." He's like, "Yeah, I should have explained it better."
I should have explained it. The little Kiwi, because the girl didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, and so they had the family and friends. Of course, they do the information, the letters about each one of them. And okay, so we want you to know you're getting Claire is a genuine, compassionate, faithful soul, the brightest person. And if she impersonates you, notice she really likes you. She's got a large, outgoing family. They're occasionally overwhelming, but her family has the open heart and open arms. But we got to see if you can survive being roasted.
Yeah, it's a lot of them.
I was like, dog, they're going to roast you. And we got a little taste of that at the reception. But I thought his family, because his family's not there. This is his family. Friends that have become family. But he did have one cousin there, Alec.
Yeah.
But their letter about him, I was like,
they didn't really explain much.
They didn't say much or nothing about him. And, you're getting. When you get Cameron, you're getting a really tall guy. You're getting a tall guy with the accent.
You're getting a tall.
No, but you're getting a tall guy with an accent and cool hair. Biking's his thing. I was like
light biking.
And just know that life's gonna be an adventure with him. I was like, but what did you really say about him? For him to have been in the United States all this time, just like your mom and dad, stateside, United States side, like they didn't say nothing about you.
Because again, he's just there. He's just there. It's not. He's there. It is what it is. They don't know much about it. He comes by every blue moon, have a conversation.
But I don't think that's what it is.
Some people just can articulate what he does.
That's what I'm thinking.
Maybe all he does is bikes. He stays in a bike shop all day.
Or maybe they thought it was cute and funny, with them saying that. I was like, anyway. So then it's time for their vows, and she gives her vows, and the biggest thing that I took from her vows was she said, I feel like God and my guardian angels have led me to this point, and I'm ready for it. And one of the guardian angels being her brother who passed away.
If it don't work out, did God lead you, your guardian angel leads you to this point?
Too deep.
I'm not trying to be deep. No, I'm just saying.
I didn't say you was. I was just saying that's going too
God
deep.
God led you to this point, so that means if you say no on decision day, was it God
trying to teach her a lesson? Yes.
Okay, I'm just saying. Sometimes it's just you.
See, this. We're reviewing Married at First Sight. We ain't getting all into that.
I'm not. Y'all want to find an ass? Sometimes it's just you. It ain't God. It ain't the devil. It's just you. But anyway.
Anywho, so for Cameron's vows, he was like, I take promises very seriously. Mm-hmm. So before I get into these vows, just know when I'm saying these promises, I'm meaning it. I'm meaning I wouldn't say it if I don't mean to keep it. But his promises were, I promise to share life and myself with you, and I'm gonna share not my chocolate though, but I'm gonna share. Yeah. I'm gonna share me. See, I'm gonna make space and put in the work, and if it doesn't work out, then we'll just blame the experts.
That's why when they say these vows, I want there to be an episode where they go read the vows back. And you hold them accountable. A couple couples did it in the past season. I believe Jasmine and Michael did it. Jasmine and Michael did it, and somebody else did it too. Where like, this is what you said, but this is not what they're not adding up, dog. So I need somebody to be like, look, okay, these not. I'm not just talking about with Claire and Cameron, but it really pointed out with them like, Alex, they got to be a certain point where you look at the vows and look see what you're doing. Am I adding up to? Mm-hmm. We talked about vows the other night when we just and we talking about.
I really was like, and it's funny because we were watching it at the same time that our daughter had her Girl Scout book that she was looking through, and I was like, this is what they should do. And I used to be a Girl Scout, and I'm adult Girl Scout, so I could do this. It's not sacrilege. I said they need to do like the Girl Scouts. On my honor, I would try to do my best. That's what you should do.
That's what you
don't make no. I promise. I'm a never. On my honor, I will do my best.
You shouldn't have definites anyway.
No.
Always and never should never be included anyway.
But especially not Married at First Sight.
Not Married at First Sight.
But so I could appreciate Cameron saying, I promise.
Yeah.
I take these promises seriously, and hopefully he'll go by it. But I would always stick to, I would try my best.
I would try my best.
That's going to be my thing forever and always when it comes to Married at First Sight. Please, y'all, I will try my best.
You try your best with me.
All right, so the funniest thing, what? Oh, shade. The funniest part, which I don't understand, so they do the rings, and, with this ring, and she can't get the ring on his finger. He was like, wait, let me try. And he couldn't either.
If the ring don't fit, we must have quit.
But
his hands swole.
They don't find out the ring size?
They do, though, but his hand probably swole.
No, he could. Glenn, he couldn't even get it off. He couldn't get it back off.
Probably like OJ. He ain't take his medicine in a while. His hand swole up.
So after they do their vows and by the power vested in me, I now call you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride, and he gives her a kiss, and like he almost like it'd have been down. I said, "Good Lord, she is short and he is tall."
He hurt his back.
And that's what I said. He hurt his thoracic spine.
Yeah. Gonna see a chiropractor.
They gave her a hug and a kiss, and I was like, "Oh, that's sweet." And I was really surprised. I think even on if I recall the matching special with like Kevin Frazier, a lot of the people on there were kind of unsure about Claire and Cameron. I don't think she's gonna like him or whatever. So I was pleasantly surprised that she was like, he's good looking. Yeah. I liked him. She liked the accent. I was like, oh, okay.
She was saying all the right things.
Mm-hmm. Oh, do you go by Cam or Cameron? He was like, I always go by Cameron. I went by Cam
I was a kid,
up until I was 10.
Up until 10,
yeah. Yeah. She called him adorable, and he was like, she's very beautiful. You know, she said he got a good personality. He's tall, and they walk outside, but they didn't stay outside like Becca and Austin. They went inside like Lauren and Orion.
You might stand outside in that weather, dog. Or don't. We'll get to that part. Oh boy.
But she was like, you know, she said, you seem pretty calm, you know, like I was shaking or whatever. He was like, I mean, I'm nervous, but yeah, I was pretty good. And he was like, you know, my 15-minute first impression is, you know, I like her, and you know, cute. Yeah, she's cute. So they talk a little family history. He explains, you know, from, you know, I live in New Zealand. I came here, you know, to do something different. He says his mom was actually born in Ohio.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. And so that explains why he has the cousin Alex there.
Yeah.
Which later he's at the reception. But he's lived in New Zealand all his life until he came to the United States. And talks about how he's a bike owner, and my family's not here. My immediate family, again, the cousin is there, but this is my adoptive family, and this family is his mom's college roommates family.
Yeah.
It's neighbors, rather.
Neighbors, yeah. I mean,
real roundabout.
Hey, y'all know how we do. Everybody, you've been around long enough, a couple years, y'all got cousin so and so. That's brother so and so. That's uncle whoever.
Family ain't always blood.
Family ain't always blood. Sometimes people ain't blood treat you better than blood. Well, that's a whole different another podcast.
Yeah, family doesn't always have to be a connection by blood. You can't, you know. So this is the family that he's found, which is awesome. Mm-hmm. So he talked about the fact that, okay, we got married here, and he says, if it's cool with you, you know, we can go to New Zealand and have another wedding, since my family wasn't able to come. And she's like, okay, wow, okay. Her thing was, do they know about the process though?
I was like, yo, make sure. When he said that, I'm saying, please make sure it's after the 8 weeks. And I hope both of y'all say yes.
Or more than just after the 8 weeks. Can we get 6 months in?
Yeah.
Make sure that's after the 8 weeks. After the follow-up and after the reunion.
Special. Let them know after the reunion. Mm-hmm. Don't waste no money, bro.
But the good thing is, she asked, you know, did your family know you was in the process? And he was like, yes, they knew. And, you know, they were all for it. He did ask her about the memorial they had there. Yeah. If you saw the wedding scene, they did have like picture of her brother with some I think it was in the seat, wasn't it? Was it in the seat or was it a table there?
Somebody was holding it.
Yeah, and so she shared, you know, it was my brother. He passed away. Oh, by the way, I'm a quadruplet. He was like, okay. A quadruplet, that's different. Like, but let's be real. Do y'all know any quadruplets? I don't. I know I know plenty of twins. I even know some triplets that I grew up with that we went to church together. But I don't know nobody that's a quadruplet.
I don't know any triplets.
I don't know no quintuplet. I don't know no sextuplet.
Octuplets.
Never seen it. So that's very unique. I wonder.
Octomom. You remember music?
But I'm talking about to know somebody.
Oh yeah. Oh.
To know, so I don't know nobody. But she says, but all together, my parents had 6 kids. Mm-hmm. I said, oh wow.
Bless it, bones.
Obviously, the first 2, she had the 2, then the 4. Cause stop. Most people stop. It is, you know, it's a side note. You know, it is a TV show with the Ricos. She have multiple after multiples.
Yeah, African American family. Yeah.
After so many multiples, like I'm gonna stop. But you can relate. Your grandma had several sets of twins.
Yeah, she did.
Several sets. 3. Or 4?
No, my mom. 2. Oh,
there's at least 3. No, it's 3.
Yeah. So I figure, yeah.
Lord have mercy, you don't even.
Big family.
Which that goes to Claire. Claire says she's got a big family, not just her siblings immediately, but they got real. She had some aunts that were at the wedding and everything, but she tried to prepare him. Just know, once they got to the reception, my family's they're gonna grill you. Just letting you know, and they did. They took pictures. Pictures look really nice. Trying to get him to pose or whatever. He looked a little uncomfortable.
His knees, he walked like his knees.
Oh yeah, I forgot to say that. Yeah, he looked like. That's why I was like, I can't believe he's so tall.
Basketball dog.
But he looked like he's walking on stilts.
Andre the Giant type deal.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. But they have really nice pictures. They had their first dance at the reception, and in that first dance, he picked her up for a little bit to try to dance. Yeah. I guess his thoracic spine was.
And they also had a kiss because maybe there was clinking glasses.
Yeah, I was gonna get to that too.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'll let you do your thing. I just sat back and.
Please.
Okay. I follow you on this.
No, you good.
Nah, go ahead.
John, just excuse us. I don't know why he did that, but anyway. But yeah, they did. They clinked that. You can go ahead.
They clinked the glasses, and they looked at each other, and they gave each other a kiss. And he actually knew what it meant. Let me stop. Go ahead.
He did. He talked about, even though, I am kind of nervous, but I hope she realizes that I'm in this and she's in good hands and she can relax. No, he said I could tell she's nervous. Sorry. But I want her to know she's in good hands. I'm gonna take good care of her on my honor. I will do my best. She said, "Oh, you didn't know you were getting a shorty." He was like, "Height's not an attraction preference to her. Like she don't have a problem with him being tall. He don't have a problem with her being short. They good on that." He says just trying to make her feel comfortable, and they feel like the experts couldn't have picked a better match.
Yeah.
Until
I'm
not saying. So she says she doesn't bike, but she does work out. They talk about at the reception when they're sitting down eating how it's good to have your own hobbies. We can mix and mingle hobbies, but like you get in trouble when your thing is your spouse's main thing, and you get to develop a codependency. And she went all, that's been my problem, picking those kind of men. I was like, wow.
She don't want to be around him 24/7.
She attracts clingy guys.
Yeah. Hey, like, I just want to be with you. Where are you going? You going to the bathroom? I'm going to go too. Like, where are you going?
Yeah, she was like, I don't need that. I don't need that. But they both can appreciate, maintaining their individuality, but being together as a couple. So we'll see how that works out for them.
It's not a hard thing to do, though.
It's not, but sometimes in that, people can be too individualized. You have to have things that you have to cross over, participate in stuff that each other does. You don't want to be too, because we found that on Married at First Sight, when they're still too focused on their single life and hanging out with their friends, and you don't make no time for your spouse, that don't work out on Married at First Sight.
Don't work out in real life.
But particularly on Married at First Sight, because at least in real life, once you get to the point where you're married, y'all develop some kind of sense of, y'all know each other.
Know what they do, huh?
But
they have poker night on Tuesdays, whatever.
Yeah, they don't know each other that well. But so like I said, his cousin Alec gave a toast, and he was like, "Let's talk about Cameron's love for chocolate, and then let's talk about Claire. I've known her for this brief time. I've known her for all these
220 seconds, something like that."
I was like, "Oh, he's kind of got a dry humor." Yeah, funny. I laughed because they looked like they had a good time at the reception. Yeah. And I was like, is that Cameron doing the worm on the floor with his tall self? What? Well, that's different.
It might be different.
He dances with her mom. which was nice. Her mom looked like she liked them.
Yeah.
And the proof of that was when he was talking to her sisters or her bridesmaids, two of her sisters and the bridesmaids. He was like, "Oh yeah, I talked to your mom. She just loves me. I she was like, basically, he was the best thing since sliced bread." And one of them reached over and brushed his shoulder off. He was like, "Oh, what, do I have something on my clothes?" And they were like, "No." He was like, "Oh, I get it. You're saying I'm bragging on myself."
Yeah.
They were like, "Yeah."
She gave herself a little
pat on the back. They were like, and that's where they're kind of roasting.
Yeah.
You can see they're gonna eat him up.
Yeah, he's not gonna get all the jokes. He won't get all the. So it's gonna be lost in translation.
And then last thing with them is they go to talk to her grandmother, Jeej. And she was like, "Oh, you came over here because I'm the oldest and the wisest person in here." And they were like, "Yeah," but she said she was married to her husband for some 60 years. So they were like, we want to get learn some lessons. And she was like, first, the thing is, don't argue with each other or try to one up each other.
Well, that's gonna be hard. You're gonna have arguments. Just don't one up. I guess you don't keep score at one up.
But that's what she said. That's her argument. Like, don't argue like that. Like, oh, you didn't take the trash out. Well, you don't do so and so. Trying to
don't bring
tit for tat.
You don't bring up old stuff.
Yeah, she gave him some good advice. She says, I think y'all are well suited for each other. Cameron said, what do you think? I think y'all well suited for each other. I was like, okay.
I hope that works out. I ain't like to say bad. So we had old folks off. You're liable to get any answer.
But she was nice and calm with it.
And she gave them the answer they wanted.
I like them kind of grandmas because she could have been off the hook.
Some older people.
Last thing for them, they ride through the reception with somebody on a bike with a little buggy on it for them until they go outside to ride off into the sunset. But that was the fourth wedding and the fourth couple, because the fifth wedding didn't happen.
Yeah.
We see all the other couples taking their time at their receptions.
Let's do one at a time.
Emily and Brennan. Emily and Brennan taking pictures. He talks about how he hopes they bond well. His parents set the bar high because they've been married so long.
But even when he said that, like, I remember all I can do is go back to, like, they set the bar high and they've been married for so long, but they had a lot of issues. Mm-hmm. Like, are they married out of convenience now, or are they married because it got fixed?
I don't know. That's why I couldn't gather.
I couldn't gather neither.
At the reception, of course, they had toast and drinking, and the guests clinking, get the clinking, and so they kiss. And that's the one thing that Emily was like, no, that was my girl Becca. I get to that. But of course they kiss for the guests, and they talk about their age and how old are you. He says, I'm 28. And she was like, oh, you're younger than me. Yeah. He says, how old are you? 29.
Really?
What kind of car do you drive? I drive a Jeep. He says, I drive an Audi. She was like, I'm a terrible driver, though. I'm surprised I haven't had an accident. He was like, what?
And my mental note was, don't let her drive me anywhere. Don't drive, no driving. I drive. Don't worry about it. You're going to passenger seat. Be a passenger princess. Let's keep it moving.
Mm-hmm. They talked about the bachelor party and the bachelorette party. And she was like, how was the bachelor party? He was like, yeah, I wasn't really into the strippers. And she was like, shoot. I was taking shots off the strippers.
Yeah, she did.
And he was like,
he has the party.
He's like, oh, wow, I could tell she's the life of the party. I'm more reserved than her, but I like her honesty.
Yeah, life of the party.
So
that's, you see, the bachelorette party or the bachelor party don't even, on that show, it doesn't even matter. Y'all not even married. You don't even know each other. So it doesn't even matter what you did to me.
I mean, it doesn't, but it also does, because depending on how you behave at the bachelor party, I'm like, ooh, is this who I got?
Nah, this is who you had before we got married.
Maybe. Let's think about Virginia.
Virginia. She was alcoholic. Well, allegedly. Alcoholic.
Throughout the season, people called her vodka instead of Virginia.
Yeah.
But that was telling.
It was
her behavior. So
Dominique.
Yeah, depending on what you do at the bachelor or bachelorette party, even though they don't know each other, then it's telling. It was like, oh, okay, I got a partier. His dad gives a toast at the reception. His dad Gary and her dad Charlie gives toast, and then of course they go to talk to the family members, and Lily, that's her, I think that was just her friend.
Yeah.
Her friend Lily talks to Brennan. How do you feel about Emily? She met my expectations. She met my expectations, and why did you end up in the Married at First Sight as an option? He was like, I had a few bad relationships, didn't work out, felt like I wasn't picking the best, so I decided to try this.
Let the expert pick for me.
So how do you feel about the fact that she hasn't been in a serious relationship?
No, they didn't waste no time. No waste time.
He was like, I guess, kind of taking a stride.
I deal with it.
My last relationship, he said his last relationship was 2 years ago, but they was pretty serious, and he did give him pause even when he talked about it, like. But he didn't really dwell on that part of the conversation
that we saw. He was hesitant.
I feel like it's gonna come up later.
I mean, he was hesitant on it. He like, okay, yeah. I mean, seriously, she doesn't know how to handle conflict, and because she's never been in a serious relationship. So, how would she know how to handle him? Or, it's a lot.
She talks to his friends James, Dave, and Richie. Okay. First impressions. The friends is like, first impressions are good, but we're gonna grill you. So you never had a serious relationship. They talk about that. What's that about? And she's like, well, I look at it like this. I had 29 years to focus on myself and get myself together. And so that way, since I worked on myself, I can get into a relationship.
Pageant answer. Pageant answer.
What stopped you from having a serious relationship? She was like, dealing with certain guys, I felt like I deserved better. And so when I was in it, I was just like, no, I don't deserve this. And so it sounded like she's a runner. She's a track star. Another, who was that? Alexis. So if they asked her the question, if you've never been in a serious relationship before, like, how do you know you can do this? She was like, because I'm ready to give it a try. On my honor, I will do my best.
I'm going to give it a try. I'm going Married at First Sight, and I'm going to give my marriage a try. I'm not going to stay in this, but we're going to give it a try.
With no tools. No tools that I have gained on my own. Because we all know when you're in relationships prior, you get tools. Okay, I do like this. I don't like that.
I like when somebody says this to me. I like somebody who don't say this to me. I want to be treated like this.
Or I know that I tend to do this, and maybe people don't like when I do that. A mate not gonna like. I'm scared.
They set her up for failure. This ain't gonna last.
I'm scared.
It ain't gonna work. Sorry.
Yeah, she said she wants to, be a better listener, and they shared that the biggest thing with Brennan is communication. So
she want to be a better listener. He don't communicate.
He says,
"How they gonna work out for it? She don't listen, and he don't communicate very well. It didn't work. I mean, think about last season when you had Jasmine and Eris. They both didn't communicate very well. It didn't work out. We haven't given our official picks yet, but that ain't working.
But her friends think she's ready to go all in now. It'll be grounding for her, and it'll also pull her out. The way she tried to make it for his friends, like, I've had time to focus on myself. Her friends basically was like, she been too focused. She been in her own world.
She been hyper focused.
So this will pull her out. And
something else to take care of.
The only other thing with them is they had a conversation on East. Okay, so how do you feel about hooking up with him? She was like, I'm not against hooking up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we can do it or whatever. And she jokingly tells her friends and her sisters, you know, I got the handcuffs, but I forgot the key.
Now, mind you, no serious relationship, but you don't mind giving it up.
Why do you keep saying that? Like people don't do that.
I know, but I'm just saying, most people are in some type of relationship.
She didn't say she hadn't been in a relationship. She said she hadn't had no serious relationship.
I need her to define serious.
That means longevity, and she probably don't make it past a few dates. And I think she actually said that at the.
I can't remember, but I mean, not a few days. At least you worried about it anyway.
But
I'll digress until they actually do whatever they do want to
do. And yeah, we're gonna see how that works out with them.
Yeah, let's see how that works out.
So then Becca and Austin, we see them taking pictures. You know, she said it's surreal for her because she's the wedding photographer, so she's used to being on the other side of the camera. Yeah. So to actually be the object of the pictures, but she couldn't take her photographer hat off. She was like, "Oh no, we should move like this." She had to catch herself, like, "No, let me let them do it." But it's hard.
We all know how that is. When you're in a profession and you're placed and somebody's doing something, I do it all the time. You do it. When in the medical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I do it when I go to people's buildings and I don't think their camera's right or the lighting ain't right or you got this hooked up to what? That computer's how old? I'm just saying. I'm just saying you ain't gonna be able to do nothing on that computer. But anyway.
Becca says Austin seems open and goofy, and she likes that. And when they get into the reception, when he was taking the picture, she was like, "Oh, should we make out again?" So in the midst of she likes him. She can't keep her lips off of him.
She can't keep her lips off of him.
She was like, "Let me give you my marriage advice for all of these 15 minutes I've been married. Number 1, make out often. Number 2, make out often." I was like,
hey, just make sure you don't bust a stitch.
Which was, not to jump too far ahead, but that was one of the things when they had the conversation about, you think, y'all might get it on tonight. She was like, they said she's very sex positive, but at the same time, she said to them, even though kind of free sexually, I don't think I would do that tonight because, she's so close to surgery.
Still all this whole surgery situation.
But he tells her she looks wonderful in her dress. And she was like, "Oh, they altered it wrong or whatever." He was like, "Well, it looks good to me.
Look good to me. Look nice to me." Man, most guys are like, "You look good to me." I got no complaints.
Yeah. She was like, I had a conversation with my friend. Oh, I wonder, is he a boob guy or a butt guy? Well, either way, he gonna get both.
He might be a little bit of both.
No, she said he gonna get both. He don't have no choice because I
know he ain't got no choice, but he might be an all around type of person.
He might be.
So he likes both.
He might be.
Why you gotta have one another?
You don't.
I know, but I'm just saying the way she was just saying.
No, the friends asked. No,
the friends.
But that was her point.
Yeah.
If he's one or the other, he's gonna get both.
He's gonna get both because that's who I am.
But I wasn't looking at the lady like that. But I was like, well, where's the booty? While they're at the reception, they talk about
Anyway.
They talk about the fact that they actually both like roller skating. Mm-hmm. They're both allergic to cats. And they're like, we have so much in common.
I told you, married at first sight.
I feel like I married myself.
The expert got tired of us talking about how these people were opposites. And this year they decided we're going to get people who are just alike.
So far on the surface. Yeah. She was like, oh man, I feel like, we're getting to know you, asking all these questions, getting to know each other. It's like a first date on crack. And it's a first date in front of all our family and friends. When have you ever done that before? Never. Never have I ever, basically is what they said. And of course, they get the clinking glasses in there, and they got the kiss, and she ain't got no problem with it. She want to kiss on him all the time,
all day long.
Which again,
her love language is physical touch.
Right, which again leads me to, okay, so that night, so she be on touchy feely. Then how do you get in the room and not be touchy feely when you've been touchy feely all day? She gonna have to tell him I had surgery recently. He gonna be like, what'd you have that for? Giving
him mixed signals. You can't cross the signals up.
I really do wonder how soon they're gonna have the health conversation. What's gonna bring that up? I'm interested.
He can be looking like.
I'm interested. But we see Austin's friend Derek give a toast. And his thing about Austin was he's gonna drive you nuts when it comes to playing board games.
Yeah, board game holic.
What was his job? How he have time to play board games?
I can't remember. He worked from home. He was.
Was he in tech sales?
I think he was tech sales. Yeah.
I don't know, but
he had time.
So we see him go talk to her friends, or one of them might have been a relative, but it's Lindsay and Marina. And he talks about the fact that, it's crazy how much we have in common. You know, is there anything that I need to know? And they tell him, just be direct and communicate. She scratches. She likes to scratch. And she don't realize that everybody don't like she attacked. I was like, oh, that's weird.
I thought when they were talking about scratching that she scratched you, so she's
no, like she'll scratch you, like mess with you. You know how some couples like to play fight and stuff.
That's
like
a tick. That's a tick.
They told him that I'm not doing that.
It is.
They said, she's very sex positive.
That's a boundary issue.
Now I'll go with that. It's a boundary issue that I stay out of my personal space. Like they were like, she'll scratch. You don't realize that she.
That's something else. But that's a mental. That's on a level. But I'm not gonna go on to what it is on this video. So I'm gonna watch some more. Then we can go ahead and just break that down. That is not no. We know people who just comes up to people and just right. you know it.
But anyway, so they said she's very sex positive. She's not traditional at all. And so it was like, buckle up, buddy. Again, I feel like you're setting it up for her to be hypersexual and all, and she may be, but immediately
you ain't getting none.
No, and I wonder how long, because again, remember, she has health challenges. So
you just tell them.
Yeah. And so she goes to talk to his friends, Mark, Nick, Ryan, and Derek, I think it was. And so she says, her concern would be, with somebody being in this process, how are they in this process? Yeah. But what I'm getting from him is that he's authentic and emotional. So I don't have that concern that
he's emotional. You look at him sometimes, look like he's about to cry. I'm serious. I mean, you said that.
Well, he actually did cry at the altar, right. But she appreciated that. She was like, I appreciate that he shed tears because, some guys would be too tight to want to let that out. There's nothing wrong with that,
but his emotion looks like it's just a lot. Like he's holding stuff in and has to get let out.
Well, I think right that moment, I think it was relief coming out of his eyes, like, whew. Because they could have gave me anybody. I mean, they did give him anybody, but somebody that he wasn't immediately attracted to and wasn't immediately attracted to him. But the friends was like, I'm noticing that y'all are both direct. She was like, yeah, I don't have any filter, but I'm not like passive aggressive. She said, not that I'm lacking a filter in that way, but I'm open and honest. And
somebody got to have a filter. When you have two people who are both open and direct in relationships and they gun ho, bump heads, because somebody has to at least bring theirs down just a little bit.
So that's really pretty much it with Becca and Austin. his friends do share what his was that Kyla, yeah, the one that was his roommate, that she's known him for a decade, and they've lived together for 3 years. So let me just tell you something about Austin.
Awesome.
He's really good at starting projects, but he don't always finish it. This is a project. I hope he finishes it.
I hope he finishes this. I hope he does too.
And she talked about the fact that he's really good in the house with taking care of stuff. He takes the trash out. He does this. He does that. And so she's like, I don't know what I'm going to do because I got to remind myself to take the trash out.
Well, he's going to take it out because he's been doing it for the time.
Mm-hmm. So that's really it with Becca and Austin. They got really good chemistry. He's hoping later they can play Nintendo 64 together.
I used to play that in
and
college.
Get to know her on a
deeper
level.
Nintendo 64 is. But I guess it's retro. So anyway.
Mm-hmm. All right, last but not least, we got Orion.
Orion, don't you mean?
No, he's an Orion.
Orion. It's Orion.
We'll jump to that. And Lauren.
Orion and Lauren.
His first impression, she says, what was your first impression? He said he was floored. She was beautiful. And she was like, oh, okay. I like the fact that she had natural hair girly. She did her own hair for the wedding. She shared that for the previous episode. Yeah. They had their first dance. She talks about how I haven't slow danced in so long. Like, she didn't know what to do. He was like, you can just put your hand on my shoulder.
I got you.
We're going to dance or whatever. He was like, my mom was a Zumba instructor, so I think I can handle the slow dancing. And then he also shared with her that he's a grass dancer. So during the reception, he did a lot of sharing about his culture, and she was like on the edge of her seat, like really.
Yeah, he did a lot of culture stuff. Which one? Yeah, the dancing. It was something else they did.
They actually did the dance around the room.
Yeah, the drums.
The drummers.
The drums. That's what it was. The drummers. Yes.
But he explained what the grass dance was. I thought that was interesting. He's like, it's like the medicine men of the tribe. I was like, oh, okay. I didn't know that part.
The medicine.
Her first impression of him, she was happy he was tall. She said, she's never dated outside of her race, and he was like, I've never dated in my race.
There we have it. There you go.
But what he says later is because my mom raised me. I had a lot of strong female figures,
right? And
it was kind of overwhelming to like dating his race because that's how the women in the indigenous tribes, that's how they are. It's very matriarchal, I guess, is what he was saying. That's what he experienced. So that's why he didn't date in his race. He went outside because he was like trying to get away from that.
Gotta see something different.
It was interesting.
You have to see something. Gotta see what's different.
He has a conversation with her dad, and
typical black father. If he could stare a hole in that dude, he looked at him like, and say something wrong.
He said, the dad said, I gave him, I told Lauren it's 15 to 100 questions that you need to ask a mate. And one of them was, does he have a toolbox? And can he fix anything? And the dad was like, they said that you can. So that's one thing down. But at the same time, so what do you do? What's your plan? You live here in Colorado. He was like, yeah. But I'm in real estate. I like to have a house on the East Coast and go in between.
But I live with my mama. How are you in real estate?
But she didn't have a problem with it. He did tell he dropped the bomb and told Lauren, let me just tell you, I live with my mom. And she was like, I don't have a problem with it because it's not like he's just living with his mom. He's been saving his money and doing.
I needed her to ask him how much he has saved. Or what did you save? She's like, you save your money? You're like, nah, bro, it ain't that simple. How much have you saved? What is your plans? What are your goals? This is what I would tell my own son. Like, yo, what is your goals? What are your plans? Don't you? Nah, man, come on, bro.
But she ain't had no problem with it. We'll see if it causes an issue later. But
she had no issue. I don't think she's gonna have it because she said he's.
Or not even an issue. Like when you go, I'm sure it'll be kind of awkward. You know, when they visit each other's places before they move in.
But see, he has 30 days. He's not going back to grandma's house. If this was like to mama's house, if this is like old Married at First Sight, we all had to pick a home to move in with each other or spend the season. I think you spend a couple weeks here and a couple weeks there. It'd have been problems.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying, you know, when you go to see what everybody's environment is like, and you know, is the mom going to follow her around the house? Well, this is where Orion sleep. This
he has his own little section.
The only other thing I wanted to say about his conversation with the dad is that when he was talking about having a house on the East Coast, the dad was like, "Now hold on now. I hear you talking about what you want to do, what does she want? You got to change that when you got a spouse. You have to consider
the other
person." And Orion was like, it was in this moment that he knew he messed up.
in this moment, he realized he's dealing with a black guy, black dad. Not even black dad. Let me go. He's dealing with a father who cares about his daughter, and you just ain't gonna take her anywhere, bro. What's the plan? Y'all ain't even whistling Dixie out in the wind. Like, what's the goal? You know, those type of.
And this is where they had a conversation. He said, in my culture, women ran, or you know, in my family, women ran the show. So I just didn't want to get bossed around. So I didn't date in my culture.
Well, he might get bossed around because he married a boss.
But he said his expectation of marriage is he wants to have a mutual respect, not one domineering over the other. So
I think they have the mutual respect, but I think she's still going to be the one who wears the pants.
We'll see. When she talks to his family and friends, her red flag might be that she needs too much validation. And
you can't be that person. You did a good job tying your shoe. You did a good job putting your coat up. You did a good job fixing. I mean, you can't do that all day. That's not realistic.
That's what she said.
That's not realistic. There's certain things you can do to show your partner that you do respect them and validate them, but not everything all day. Everything they do, you walk. That's because that's another side or version of walking on eggshells. So you can't do it in relationships.
But she said she realized that, like, she's self-aware. So coming to this process, she's more comfortable that she's aware of her faults and her insecurities or whatever. So we'll see. I think in the end, maybe the interaction with Orion and her dad was a little bit smoother, but what we saw was rough.
Yeah, I mean, he was a little bit nervous, but again, a father, it's different when a father gets the opportunity. Well, even when you have an opportunity to meet the person over a period of time, it makes it seem a little bit easier. But I only met you 20 minutes ago. She's a stranger. We don't know you. She get to stay with you. Know what I'm saying? So it's like, I know they done their due diligence, but let me do my due diligence and talk to you and make sure everything's good. So that's what a father's supposed to
do. So that's pretty much it. Except his friends did talk to him about how you like your wife. You think you might, get it on or whatever. He says, I don't know. If I don't want to, I'd rather not. It was like, but what if she wants to? He was like, I'm gonna have to oblige.
I'm gonna oblige her. He ain't gonna say no.
Remember, this is my man that had the whole conversation about girth at the bachelor party. So
I mean, if she offered, he ain't gonna turn it down.
Nope.
Hey, man, whatever.
We'll see.
We'll see how it goes. The previews for this season look pretty much interesting. Look real interesting. We'll see.
They always set you up.
They set you up, man. So we'll set up and see how they go. We'll probably give our predictions next week because the honeymoon, they're already going on honeymoon. So next week we'll give our predictions of who we think is going to stay together, who we think is going to get divorced, and why. But make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell notification so you miss any of our reviews. If you miss any of the past reviews, just click the button and go check them out. While you're on the treadmill, while you're at work, whatever the case may be, hit the playlist. Do all of them. All right? Appreciate you. Enjoy.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.